Did you know that journaling for 5 minutes at night before going to bed might be the perfect starting point to live a life full of passion and purpose? Hello, friend. I'm your host, Alicia Carrasco, entrepreneur, author, wife, and mom of two. And in today's episode, I want to talk about how this 5 minute journaling reflection exercise can actually help you live a more intentional and purposeful life. Let's begin. So, this is one of the routines that I've been putting into practice for years to deliberately improve my life, even though it's true that at some points I may have skipped it for days or maybe even weeks. But every time that I get back and I do it again, I immediately see the huge positive effect that it really has in my life. And that's why I wanted to share with you today this very simple journaling exercise that I do every night before going to bed instead of scrolling through social media, for example, right? So I invite you to pull out your journal and just do this quick 5 minute journaling reflection every night. And what I want you to do in this journaling exercise, it's very simple. Just write down 3 wins for the day, like this one's over here. 3 wins for the day. That's it. And you can write them down in bullet fashion if that's easier for you. But what matters is actually the exercise of remembering your day and writing down 3 things that are positive from that day. And what you do is you write down actual events that happened. And these wins can be either 3 things that you experienced or maybe learned, or maybe you made some progress towards your goals, right? In my case, yesterday, one of the things that I wrote down in my wins was that I spent a very beautiful afternoon outdoors in our backyard with my kids, Mark and Brianna. They are 5 and 4 years old now. And we had a lot of fun making a Santa sleigh with some pieces of wood and also imagining that we were in the North Pole and so on, imagination, a lot of creativity there. And why was this a win for me? It was a win for me because I got to be really, really present with them and playing actively and enjoying fully the moment. And for me, this is a big win since I know that sometimes I'm with them, but I kind of have my mind, thinking about other things, right? And in my life vision, I have in my parenting category that being present with my kids is actually something that I really want to be able to do consistently. And let's be honest, for now, I sometimes do it better than others. But yesterday, I got to do it and I felt really good inside. So I wrote it down as a big win, right? So it is really about making a list of the things that went well on that day. And the key is that even if you got a day where everything seemed to fall apart, we all have days like that for sure. You can still use this journaling exercise to write down about what is that you learned from that day, framing in a positive and constructive way what happened that day. So you get to see and you're actually teaching your brain the progress that you've made, even though that day maybe didn't go the way that you expected. But what you're doing really here is you are training yourself, your mind to see the gain. What is it that you gain from that situation instead of focusing on the negative side of things, right? And there's actually a very interesting book that I highly recommend. It's called The Gap and the Gain by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. And they have a whole chapter in that book dedicated to all the benefits that this reflection exercise before going to bed is really, really good and positive for your brain. And the second part is something that my husband Mark started doing a few months ago. And I find it incredibly powerful. And that is right after writing down those 3 wins for the day, you stop for a second and kind of write down 3 wins that you'd like to accomplish the next day. And Thomas Edison once said, never go to sleep without a request to your subconscious. Because what happens is that our brain, when we are sleeping, they are trying to figure out solutions for whatever we have in our mind, right? So if you proactively do something like writing down specifically what is it that you want to accomplish the next day, and you ask yourself, how could I make this happen? your brain, while you are sleeping, will start finding solutions and ways to achieve those wins. And the key for these three pre gains is for them to be important things that you want to achieve, but not urgent things. Let me explain you a little bit. Important things are those ones that will move you forward in your life towards your desired life vision or your desired future self. And your question may be, but what are those important things? Normally, these important things are the things that if you are not really intentional about them and you proactively make time, space to do them, you'll end up very easily not doing them. Like, for example, start that novel that you want to write, or maybe start composing that piece of music, or maybe learning to play an instrument, or start that business, or learn that language, or whatever it is for you, right? But it's that thing that moves you towards your life vision. Those are the important things. So by intentionally writing them down in your journal at night, it really will help you gain that proactiveness that you're going to need every day to put those important things first in your calendar. So that's it. By doing this journaling exercise before going to bed, what you're doing is you're quantifying and making your past more concrete by giving it structure and narrative, and you start making sense of it and you frame it. You decide how you want to frame it. Actually, you decide to frame it in a powerful and positive way by focusing on the wins that you got from that day. And if you continuously do this, what you're doing is you learn and you get better at defining your past and also defining at the same time your future. And on the other hand, it allows you to be more intentional in your day to day, which is the key to proactively work towards your desired future self or your desired goals, life vision, whatever you want to call it, right? And it really helps you to be less reactive in a world where, every day is like you receive inputs here and there, and it's very easy to be reactive to the environment that we are in. So the more intentional that we can be in our days, the better, and the more progress we'll make towards our desired future. And again, this is a very simple journaling exercise. It sometimes for me it takes like just like 3 minutes or 2 minutes, depending on the day, but it really has a very positive compounding effect in your life. So again, I could not stress this enough. I really encourage you to give it a try. Try it out and just spend 5 minutes at night journaling and writing down 3 wins for the day and 3 pre-gains for the next day. And you'll easily see the positive effect that it has in your life. So that's all from me today. Thank you for listening. And if you like this episode, please like, rate, subscribe, or even share it with a friend if you think that this content could be of help. Thank you for listening and see you in the next one.